Today we're going to talk a little bit about the wonderful ladies who play critical roles in the Metal Gear Solid series, as they serve to make an interesting model of what can be done with a female character when she's given a background story and a little ambition. The series was created by Hideo Kojima, a man who's known for his unapologetic love of Cold War-era conspiracy theories and cheesy 80s action flicks. He's consistently being named one of the most influential, innovative, and revolutionary writers and directors of all times, even earning himself a place in Newsweek's top 10 people of 2002. Essentially, the Metal Gear series deals with concepts of nuclear deterrence, mutually assured destruction, puppet regimes, and sneaking up on people and stealing all their snacks and guns. Chronologically by plot, the series shows the progression of the Cold War from 1964 to 2014, maybe 2018, depending on what you consider canon. And while the story is entirely fictional, it does make heavy references to things that have actually taken place, as well as to things that have been speculated to happen in the real world. But what's that got to do with kick-ass female characters? Well, despite the fact that the Metal Gear series is largely a series that deals with war, which is usually left up to dudes, the series boasts an impressive cavalcade of female characters that are integral to the story. In this video, we're going to take a few minutes to discuss just why these ladies are so kick-ass and worthy of a shout-out. So without further ado, here are my top 5 favorite female characters from the Metal Gear Solid series. Number 5, Eva.
I only get off my bike when I fall in love or fall dead.
What's your name?
Tatiana.
No. Your real name.
What's wrong with Tanya?
Like a character right out of a Bond movie, Eva is a femme fatale that makes her debut in Metal Gear Solid 3. Charming is an understatement, as young Eva plays a critical role as a spy, helping Naked Snake locate and destroy the Shagohod. Posing as Sokolov's mistress, she manages to maintain her composure through torture and rape at the hands of Old Jin. Later, at the behest of Dr. Clark and Big Boss, she joined the Patriots, volunteered to be the surrogate mother for Liquid and Solid Snake, and later went on to form the Paradise Lost Army, which, ironically, was an anti-Patriots organization. So, Eva might not be the most fierce character in the series, but due to her quick wits and her tenacity, she certainly earns a spot in my top 5. Coming in at number 4, we have Paramedic. The ever-quirky Paramedic first shows up in Metal Gear Solid 3 as then Naked Snake's right-hand woman. She's smart, sassy, and known for putting Naked Snake in his place, much to Snake's chagrin.
You're afraid of vampires, aren't you?
Don't be ridiculous.
But...
Listen, there are no such things as vampires.
When she's first introduced, players quickly learn to rely on her for her vast knowledge of field medicine. Need to know how to get rid of leeches? Or patch up a nasty laceration? She's your woman. Of course, she's also known for her ability to quickly relay information about various types of bushmeat that Snake comes across. Upon getting to know her, it's hard not to like her. She's a huge movie buff, not dissimilar from Kojima himself. Players willing to do a little more digging can find out that Paramedic is the infamous Dr. Clark, who is known for the creation of cyber soldier Grey Fox, as well as heading the L'Enfance Terrible project, which was an attempt by the government to create clones of Big Boss. That's right, Paramedic, our sweet little movie buff, is the reason we have Liquid and Solid Snake in the first place. Number 3 belongs to the good doctor, Naomi Hunter. Driven by an insatiable urge to know more about herself and the parents she never met, Naomi Hunter became a world-famous geneticist in the Metal Gear universe, with her primary specialty being in nanotechnology-based gene therapy.
But my reason for getting into genetics was true.
'Cause you want to know yourself, right?
That's right. I want to know where I came from, my age, my race, anything.
We first meet Naomi in Metal Gear Solid, where she's a member of the radio support team helping Solid Snake during the Shadow Moses incident. What players don't know is that Naomi is driven by spite and took up a contract with Pentagon to create the first genetics-based assassination virus, Foxdie, which she planned on using to kill Solid Snake for crippling her brother, Frank Yeager. Of course, as fans know, she also turned around and saved the world from what surely would have been the worst epidemic on record by helping create Fox Alive, an antidote of sorts for Foxdie. Because of her critical role in the story, as well as her no-nonsense, strong personality, we think she belongs right here in our top 5 list. Number 2, Dr. Strangelove. Born just before World War II began, Strangelove was incredibly talented when it came to math and logic. Studying under Alan Turing, she decided to go into artificial intelligence and ended up working for NASA and DARPA projects. Calling her weird is a little bit of an understatement, as Strangelove tends to come off almost more robotic than her creations at times. She's known for being obsessive as well as ruthless, as she showed herself capable of committing gruesome acts of torture against Big Boss.
Brace yourself.
While she's certainly not the only LGBT character in the Metal Gear series, she's somewhat of an interesting character to dissect. A sexual predator who preys on young girls like Paz and Cecile, Strangelove doesn't have some sort of deep-rooted cause for her behavior. In a world full of Lorena Bobbitts where we try to justify why a female character could be bad, it was an interesting choice to make Strangelove display such traits without giving it any sort of justification. Strangelove earns a spot in my top 5, primarily for being one of the least stereotypically written female characters in a video game. Number 1 goes to a lady so fierce, so strong, and so well developed that fans of the series consistently rank her as one of their all-time favorite characters. I'm talking about none other than the boss. The boss is arguably one of the most well-written characters in the history of video games. She played a critical role in World War II, founded the Cobra unit, developed CQC with Naked Snake, and was the first American in space, and that barely even begins to scratch the surface of her past. That alone makes her an impressive character, but all of these things are mere backstory. In Metal Gear Solid 3, the CIA grew to fear the boss's power and charisma and looked for a way to put her out of their misery. Through a complex series of events, they managed to pin a nuclear strike by GRU Colonel Wol Jin on the boss and promised the USSR that they would handle the issue. A large portion of the game involves the player acting as Naked Snake, who has been tasked with assassinating the boss, who refuses to go down without a fight. Of course, Snake succeeds, thinking that the boss had betrayed the USA, and this is in no small part because she had actively made him believe the lie. It's later discovered and even expanded upon in Metal Gear Peace Walker that the boss had willingly sacrificed herself for her country, allowing her protege to step up and end her life in order to prevent an all-out nuclear war. The boss died a true hero, giving up her life to save a country who buried her as a traitor. Because of this, I couldn't think of a better character to wrap up the list than the boss, as she's one of the most dynamically written female characters that I've come across in my 25 years of gaming. Does that mean that Metal Gear is a series without flaw? No, of course not. One of the core interactions you have with Meryl is identifying her by her ass. And of course, there's the tasteless rape jokes that have been thrown in. And let us not forget there's still Quiet, a female character who, despite being a sniper who only wears bikinis and literally says 0 things, Kojima assures us that there's an entirely valid reason for her being a sniper who wears only bikinis and says literally 0 things. But I'm not terribly hopeful. Still, for all its flaws, the Metal Gear series is one that, in my humble opinion, boasts some of the most incredible writing and some of the most awesome women. So thanks, Kojima, for giving me a few characters that stuck with me all these years and making my gaming experience that much better.